Hello and welcome to the Deepdale Festival podcast part 2. I'm Jason and I'll be chatting with India Electric Company, Amelia Coburn, Chris Cleverley and False Colours. We hope you enjoy the listen, and even better, we hope you come and join us at Deepdale Festival from the 21st to the 24th of September. You can find loads more information about the festival on deepdalefestival.co.uk. Enjoy the listen.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, fistful of samphire, sea, lavender, see you next year.
Sitting in the salubrious surroundings of my car in the centre of Norwich, in between, helping with rehearsals for my daughter's show that's going to Edinburgh Festival.
Wow.
And at least I have the views of the river and a lovely weeping willow. But I'm chatting to the lovely Cole from the India Electric Company, and it's just great that you've joined us, and we're even better that you're coming to play the festival. Thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Oh, my pleasure. My absolute pleasure, Jason. It's great to be here, and we can't wait for the festival. I've got to be honest. We've talked about looking at the lineup quite a lot and going through, and that's one of the great things about being on festival lineups is you get to see people who you don't know, make new discoveries, and it just looks like I saw a tweet a little while ago from Catherine Williams saying that it feels like Deepdale's the festival to be at this year, and I totally concur with that. It's a privilege for us to be a part of it, so we're looking forward to it immensely, mate.
Oh, it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be, you guys will be great. And Chris always finds the most wonderful selection of artists to come along. And Mark and I throw in a few tidbits of kind of, well, maybe you should think, but he does the vast majority of the work. And he always finds great artists. And this year, I think, it's going to be awesome having you. Are you going to manage to see any more of the festival, or are you going to come for any of the days, or are you just going to come up for the day itself?
Yeah, we're coming for the weekend because we've got friends up near where you are. We love that area. We've played quite a bit in and around Norfolk over the last few years. Obviously, we've done stuff with Midge up in Norwich. We've done a beautiful old barn near Diss called Wingfield Barns, and we've played in quite a lot of sort of traveled around the Norfolk coast a little bit. So we've got our friends Jacob of Drinkwater, Mishra, and I'm quite tempted to come to the old Singing Bowls meditation. That I'm not going to lie, that's right up my street. So
you come and do yoga at 9 o'clock and then Singing Bowls meditation up at 10. So perfect. Yeah,
well,
this
is it. This is it. I haven't told Russell the drummer that's night. If I say 9 and 10, he would assume that that's evening. But it might be a little tricky to get him in. But Joe and I will be there. We'll be there for the yoga, definitely. So no, we can't wait.
Fantastic. Yeah, we got Emily runs the yoga and is she runs a very good session in early in the morning, understanding that people aren't necessarily 100% with it at the point of the day. So it works very well. So are you guys really busy at the moment? Are you kind of keeping yourselves really entertained?
Yeah, it's been a really busy year, to be honest. We've just finished at the back of it was 32 shows in about 38 days on a sport tour in the UK. So that has been amazing doing that with Midge. And then, we're hunkering down because we're supposed to have finished this new album that we wrote kind of in that time where obviously gigs weren't happening. So it was a really amazing opportunity, we felt, to write for the love of writing and expand our horizons. And yeah, so we took, you know, it was basically 18 months of writing solidly. So it was a really exciting time for us. So we're putting all that together now, all the nuts and bones, and all getting all the little parts. And it's really nice. That's a really nice journey to be on. It's kind of the antithesis of touring, you know, creatively, but both things I think go really well one after the other. So we're finishing that, and then we've got a new album tour later on in the autumn. So yeah, it's just great to be out playing. I don't know how you feel, but we certainly felt this spring and summer there's been a change, a shift in momentum from punters and bands, and people are just so, there's a lot of joy, I think, for people to be back out experiencing music together. Just shared experience together, regardless of music in a way, and feeling all those things that collective experience does to you. So it's really an exciting time, I think, to be doing that and to be out. And so we're really having a great old time at the moment.
That's cool. Yeah, and I think it's definitely the people who are going out. I think there's still some hesitancy out there from people, but the people who are going out and enjoying it are just so relieved that it's all back and happening, and that there's, you know, that there are these events. And so I think there's a sense of euphoria when you go to gigs that, you know, it's just like, oh, so happy to be here. It's so lovely. So
well, yeah,
it's good.
It's definitely, and it's one of those things that you miss. You know, you don't necessarily remember all the words of the artist you're hearing, but you remember how it made you feel. You know, that's the thing that we didn't have for so long. So this is this is a really positive, I think, time to be involved in music, especially for us. So yeah, we're really happy to be out there.
So in terms of the creative process when you were writing, and it's fantastic that you found so much inspiration to write, but what is it that inspires you, and is it quite a long, tortuous process coming up with a song, or is it quite quick? You know, I'm fascinated how different artists find the process.
Yeah, I think it's a very individual. I think it's a very individual process for everybody. I'm just reading Rick Rubin's amazing book called The Creative Art, and he explores this quite in amazing detail. But it's very much song based. So some songs can take a long time to come together and kind of find that thing that you were searching for from the start. Other things seem to just roll really quickly. Obviously, we try to reference and listen to as many different artists as possible, and take on board what they're trying to achieve and how they go about that, certainly from a production point of view. And having the time and space to learn other people's songs, I think, has really helped us. But it's I think it's a really positive thing. I know people talk about the struggle that they have creatively, or like almost like they're at war with this concept of the struggle, the creative struggle. I don't really subscribe to that, because I think it's the opposite for me. It's a joyous process, and should be a joyous process. It's a privilege to be doing this, and you know, yes, there are frustrations certainly with any job, but we're not saving lives here. We're creating something, and I think that process, especially when there's more, you know, when it's a collective thing. So if there's two of us or three of us in this instance, then you know, that's the really interesting part, balancing everyone's ideas. Joe and I have been working together. You know, we grew up together and have known each other since we were kids. So we've been working creatively for so long. We're very different of how we approach it, but I think we try to find a balance within that. And so that's a really exciting journey to go on. You know, one of us will say, oh, listen, I heard this, or what about this? And the other one will bring another new creative idea to it, and finding that balance that we feel works for us, and then hopefully works for the people listening is a process that takes a long time. I think we're very slow. I'm not going to lie. A lot, you know, I keep saying, oh, we've got a new album out, and that was about 4 years ago, and we still haven't finished it. So, but there doesn't need to be pressure. I don't feel that there needs to be pressure to get something done just for the sake of getting it done. You know, ultimately, we want it to be as accessible as possible, and so. Yeah, I mean, what's that quote? What's that Beethoven quote? Music is the soil in which the spirit lives, thinks, and invents. And I think we're country boys at heart, and I feel like that's very much where we're from. So yeah, it's a joyous process, I think.
Fantastic. Well, we are so looking forward to having you at Deepdale. It's going to be wonderful. I'm really glad you're going to manage to make some of the
delighted to be there.
Some of the festival, and and we, I will let Emily know that there will be some of our headliners will be doing her yoga. Put
We
the
will be
pressure on there.
I will be
great.
practicing my downward dog in advance. Do not worry.
Fantastic. Yeah. That's brilliant. Well, it's so nice to talk to you. Thank you so much. Mate. And if I play one of your tracks on the podcast, which one would you like it to be?
Well, I think it feels right to play Statues, which is a song we'll probably be opening with at Deepdale. And it's from our latest album, and it very much musically, I think, talks about the things that I've mentioned about the comparisons of standing still and writing, and then touring and constantly being in this movement. So it's based on this idea of something, a pentatonic pattern, staying the same whilst everything around it, the chords and the melody changes. And so that's it's an important song to us, and also huge fun playing it live with Russell on drums. So that would be amazing if you could play that, and we look forward to seeing you all there.
Brilliant. That's great. Well, we'll see you at the end of August. Sorry, the end of September, not the end of August. Yeah. So I was all far too close. So it's the end of August.
I know. I was worried I wasn't going to have my yoga moves by then if it was the end of August.
Fantastic. We'll see you soon, and thank you so much.
Look forward to it. Take care. Cheers.
It might make more sense in the morning. It might seem to be inevitable. It might always stay the center of things. Carrying on, playing the game, sailing into the wind. It's not that it means anything. It's not that it's right on the other side. Looks like chasing, feels like on the verge of something. Seems like a statue. Don't have to be there to be there.
I am chatting to Amelia Coburn, who is playing in the Orchard tent on Sunday of Deepdale Festival. It's going to be fantastic to have her with us. Welcome to Deepdale Podcast, Amelia.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's going to be wonderful to have you with us for the festival. Really, really lovely. And you've never played Deepdale before, have you? So this is your first visit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Are you a is this your first gig in Norfolk, or have you played in Norfolk before?
I think it is, yeah. I'm not very good at geography, but pretty sure it's my first time in that part of the country, yeah.
Where's home normally?
Middlesbrough.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
So it's quite far, but I'm really excited to go. Yeah, it looks lovely. I've heard loads of good things about the festival, so I was delighted to be asked to play.
So what can people expect from your set?
Yeah, I'm a solo artist. I tend to just play it on my own. And it used to just be me and my ukulele, and it was a very easy setup. And now I've sort of increased the size of my collection of instruments. So I've got a tenor ukulele, which is the normal one that people think of. And then I've got a baritone, which looks like a guitar and sounds a bit like a guitar, but it's just got 4 strings, and a dulcimer, which I only play one song on. So it's quite funny. I often get trains to gigs and I'm carrying 3 instruments, and I only use one of them for one part of the set. But it's a bit of a gimmick, really. But it sounds really nice. So yeah, stick dulcimer, inspired by the Appalachian one, but it's much easier to play, and you hold it up like it would be a guitar or a ukulele. Play again, it's really difficult to describe what sort of music you play, but I like to tell stories in my songs, and you know, I guess you could call it folk music.
Yeah.
It spans a few genres, jazz inspired and pop.
What inspires you to write songs? Is it you discover stories and then that sort of sparks an idea of a song, or is it,
It
do you get a
usually
melody
does.
first, or how does it work?
It's quite a long process for me. I'm not very prolific like some artists are, and sometimes I wish I was, but then I sometimes think actually because it takes me so long to write a song, when I do get one out, I think I am a bit of a perfectionist, and I do really like the song I write. I don't just do loads and just chuck loads of songs out there. So it'd be nice to get a happy medium in between that. But I tend to be inspired mainly by storytelling, and that's often people I've met or places I've been. I studied languages at university, so I lived in Mexico for 6 months, and I worked in Paris, and I also studied in Russia for a few months. And that was I felt like I wrote a lot during that time period because I was constantly meeting people and doing different things and influenced by many, like all my surroundings. But I have very vivid dreams. So I often am inspired by nightmares and dreams and books and films. So a big mix of things. And I tend to just, the melody comes and then I'll try and think of some like lyric ideas after that. But it's usually the melody that I've got in my head for a few months and then the lyrics come after.
Which is more comfortable for you, the studio or stage?
Oh, probably the state. I prefer the performance aspect
Yeah.
rather than the writing and recording because it I think putting in myself, I've just been in the studio for the first time to record my album that's coming out next year, and I loved it. I went to the Wirral to record with at Yawn Studios. Bill Ryder Jones is producer, and I loved it, but I did find myself like getting more nervous to record because you know that's going to be a final thing, and I don't know, you get that. I guess it's like, I don't know, if when you do your podcast, sometimes if you have to record yourself even just saying one thing, you start to overthink it. Whereas when you do a live show, that's the beauty of live show. It happens in that instant. It's between you and the people there, and it's a really nice shared experience. And I've always loved performing live since I was younger, and I'm getting better at recording music, but I don't know, I don't find it as fun.
Have you been busy this year in terms of gigging? Is it always sort of frantic for you?
Oh, I wouldn't say frantic, but I try and keep busy with gigging. That's like my favorite part of music, and it's sort of I recently, I say recently, it was after COVID, I decided to take the plunge and do music pretty much full time. So gigging's a good way of keeping that going really. So in April I did a spring tour, mainly it was like northeast, northwest, and there was Birmingham Day in that. So it was a bit of a mini tour really. I didn't do the whole of the country. And then just got some festivals coming up, from now until September, Deepdale. And I try and gig as much as I can. But because I was recording in May, I did take a bit of a step back from live shows.
Yeah. So what's your new album called?
That's a secret.
Oh, okay. Will
Yeah.
it be out by the time you play at Deepdale?
No, it'll be out. Well, there'll probably be a single in November, and then the album itself will be, well, hopefully if I get everything done in time, it'll be spring next year. Because just the whole process, I've never really released an album properly before. I say properly, it's always been a homespun DIY thing with me, my manager. I record it from home. I draw the artwork myself. We do everything ourselves, and it's worked so far. But with this one, I kind of wanted to do a bit more. So I'm gonna, by the time I play Deepdale, I will hopefully have reached a Kickstarter that I'm going to launch soon, to pay for doing it properly this time and getting an artist to do the artwork and get music videos and photos. And I'm really excited, but it's probably going to be a longer process because I can't just be like, oh, it's all done now. I'm going to bring more people on board for it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some new music out.
So if people want to know more about you, where should they be? I know they can go onto the Deepdale Festival website, and we've linked through to your sort of Facebook and your website and your Bandcamp and all that sort of stuff. But kind of, is there music to buy on Bandcamp for you? They can buy kind of your previous editions.
Yeah. So I've got a Bandcamp, which has got all sorts really. It's got the things I've released before. There's a CD on there it's a kind of a compilation CD of mixture of my original songs and some covers, because when I first started out playing music, I played sort of classic covers, but with a twist. So stuff by The Clash, Joy Division, David Bowie, the Kate Bush, that kind of thing. So there's a few of my own
good
covers
quality
on.
music.
Yeah, on my dad's record collection, I used to say. So there's like those sort of early covers, then my newer original material which is what I'm focusing on now. So the album next year will all be all my own stuff, which I've never done before. It's always been a few covers too. So that's on Bandcamp, and I'm on Spotify, but Bandcamp's always the better one. And some handwritten lyrics are available.
Any listeners,
all my stuff now.
any listeners, make sure you buy from Bandcamp. Don't listen on Spotify, because the money that the artists get is significantly greater from a Bandcamp purchase than thousands and thousands of listens on Spotify. So
I think it was on Twitter that was like even 1 million streams would only get you like something. You would think it would be tons of money, but it's only.
I think it works out as 0.003 pence a listen or something. It's just insane.
Absurd. Yeah.
So I think 1 million listens would probably get you about 300 quid or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's just crazy. It's it's the wrong business model. It really is. I'm sure Spotify are making significant money. So
exactly.
But the trouble is, it's kind of that balancing act, isn't it, between getting heard and seen and getting noticed, as opposed to making a living, and it's finding that nice balance between the two.
Exactly, like in some ways, because I've got my record collection, but I've also got a Spotify, and I usually I listen to day to day on Spotify, but then if I hear an independent artist that I like, I'll then go buy the physical copy. And I have had a few people come to gigs, and I said, "Oh, so where have you heard about my music?" And they say, "Oh, I found you on Spotify." And I think, wow. So in some ways, like you say, it was a point where I wanted to take all my stuff off there, like Joni Mitchell and Neil Young did. But when you're an emerging artist, it's not really a viable option. You kind of have to have both, like you say. And it's
kind of, as long as people turn that into physical listening, listening to live music rather than only ever listening to Spotify, because artists won't be able to afford to keep producing stuff if they don't buy the physical albums or go and see them in concert. So there's got to be a conversion, and Spotify have got to wake up to that. They've got to be much better at promoting artists. But hey ho, the music world is a strange place, is it not? So but we are so looking forward to you playing. It's going to be fantastic. And if you are coming to Deepdale Festival, Amelia is playing on Sunday in the Orchard tent. It's very chilled, and it'll be lovely. And you can take Mark Radcliffe's word for it, but he says a fabulous voice, beguiling stage presence. So if you needed a reason to come and see her, that seems like a pretty good one. But thank you so much, Amelia, for chatting to me. Really lovely to meet you online, and we look forward to seeing you in September.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. Thank you.
Which song would you like me to play a snippet from?
Maybe Perfect Storm?
Chatting to Chris Cleverley, who is playing on Saturday in the Orchard for Deepdale Festival. And I think, if I'm right in saying, this is Chris's first visit to Deepdale?
That's correct, yeah.
And is it your first visit to Norfolk?
I've been in and out of the county a few times, spent some time on the coast up at Cromer and stuff, but like gig wise, it's my first one
This is the
there.
first
Yeah,
gig. Oh,
absolutely.
excellent.
Yeah.
So you're a Norfolk Virgin as far as gigging.
Absolutely. Yeah, this will be the first one, so I'm excited to take my music to the audience up there.
Excellent, excellent. And Chris has won Male Artist of the Year 2022. And he's been described by Mark Radcliffe and Stuart McConey as rather lovely electro folk, which is cool, especially as I listen to them every Saturday and Sunday on Six Music. So
Oh, cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
that they're close to my heart. We're working on Mark Radcliffe coming to the festival. We keep dropping him subtle suggestions that he should do, and we'll see what happens. So yeah, one day the folk show with Mark will come and see us. How is it all going? Are you enjoying kind of gigging, and are you busy at the moment? Is it sort of crazy at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely. Gigging is it's a wonderful thing. It's a wonderful part of what we do as artists, and just kind of right in the middle of festival season at the moment. So this weekend, I've just come off the back of Milton Keynes International Festival on Saturday and Cambridge Folk Festival on Sunday, which was just magnificent time. Just kind of like taking a beat yesterday to recover. It's such a kind of whirlwind when you're there, just bumping into all of the people that you know in the industry and other artists and stuff. But it was a wonderful performance and such an incredibly inquisitive and engaged audience, and it was great to be there.
Fantastic. That's great. And what's your favorite part of music? Is it the performing, or is it the creating, or are they kind of run hand in hand?
Yeah, I think there's a big connection between the two. I mean, at heart, basically, I'm a guitarist, a fingerstyle guitarist. That's kind of always been the root of what I've done. I've just spent hours and hours of my life playing guitar in my living room, and just kind of learning from great musicians like Joni Mitchell and John Martin and stuff, and those kind of folk revival guitar techniques. And that's just my fascination with that has kind of spurred me on to go into a career with it. So kind of writing music with the guitar is probably like the fundamental part of what I love, and then taking that out and sharing it with live audiences is also a beautiful thing too, and having people engage with it as well is wonderful.
Yeah. And do you find that the melody comes first, or is it the words or the kind of inspiration that comes first?
It can be sometimes the two together. Sometimes you'll have a piece of music with no words, or some words on your iPhone or whatever with no riffs that go with it, and they'll just sit there for months. And sometimes you have to really work at chipping away to get them together. Sometimes it's all a beautiful organic process that happens at once. But I find stuff just like playing 30 minutes of random guitar every day, or reading a bunch of novels or articles and stuff, and having that kind of creative input can really help with producing the ideas and having them all come together.
Fantastic. And is it quite a blood from stone process for you, or is it quite quick? Different people seem to find that different songs take different times, but other people really jealousy kind of, oh yeah, 15 minutes, I'm done. So
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of both. I relate to both of those things. Sometimes I think all songwriters are just suddenly possessed by that moment of inspiration where you literally just bash out a whole song in 10 minutes and you feel like it's one of the best you've ever done. And then other times you're just like so struggling to find the end of a line or next passage of a verse or something that you feel like you've lost that creative muse and it's never coming back. And those are the times when you really have to practice the art of songwriting and kind of really map out the direction you're going and kind of try loads of different alternatives until you get one that works.
Yeah, excellent. And have you got any other big gigs coming up before Deepdale, or is Deepdale kind of your next festival? I guess you're probably manic all the way through the summer, are you?
Well, actually, it's just coming up to a little bit of a quieter period gig wise because I'm working on some quite exciting new video project. We're putting together some kind of more acoustic interpretations of songs from my last album that came out last November because it was quite a big production, lots of kind of synths and electric guitars and things. And we've reimagined those songs a lot this year. And so we're just kind of trying to capture them in a studio environment and have some really nice new recordings and new videos to kind of hopefully be ready for the Deepdale audience so they can kind of get a really good idea of what my solo acoustic set's going to be like there. So actually a combination of that and very excited to have a couple of weeks holiday in Crete at the start of September. So
Nice.
it's going to be a little bit of a hiatus on gigs until Deepdale, which will be my next one actually. So I'm really looking forward to getting back into it.
Fantastic. Well, I know our audience are really looking forward to seeing you, and I think you'll like the feel of the orchard. It's very chilled, and people just sit there and they sort of nest and then love the music. So it works very well. And the real ale's very good. Are you going to manage to see other acts at Deepdale, or are you just dipping in and dipping out?
Oh, well, yeah, I'm hopefully going to be there as much of the weekend as possible. I know there's some
Fantastic.
incredible artists like Michelle Stoddart and Annie Dresner and Jacob Drinkwater, who some people I know and good friends with, some people I haven't met before, and I'm just really excited to meet people and see their musical weekend and just hopefully immerse in it. And now you've mentioned the Real Ale tent, I'm especially kind of dedicated to not having to drive there and back in a day.
Excellent. That's good. Rachel and David from Moongazer Ale supply a wonderful selection, and we have good ciders too. So I don't think you'll be too disappointed by that. So I think that'll entertain you, and there's plenty of good music. And I was talking to the guys from India Electric Company earlier, and they're gonna do their best to do the yoga in the morning and then the singing bowls. So maybe you can come along and join into that one as well.
Yeah, sounds great. I love starting the day with yoga, deep breathing, and just clearing your mind and getting in a good headspace to face the day. So that sounds spot on.
Fantastic. Well, really nice to meet you online, and we're looking forward to meeting you in person at the end of September. What if I play a track of yours that you feel sort of sums up what people are going to enjoy when they come to see you at Deepdale? Which track would you like me to play?
I'd love, if it's all right with you, to maybe share the first track from my latest record, a song called Borderlands, which is a song about the crazy act of growing up and coming of age that young people experience in this head-spinning world that we live in, and the amazing role that parents do in guiding them through that uncharted territory. So yeah, Borderlands would be a great choice, I think.
Fantastic. And which album is that from, so people know?
That's from my latest record called Broadcast, The Secret Verse, which came out last November.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Chris, for joining me on the podcast. Really kind of you. And we will see you in what is just a few short weeks away. Have an amazing holiday in Crete in the meantime, and keep well, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to see you, and I look forward to seeing you at Deepdale.
on Zoom, I am chatting to David and Polly from False Colours, and I can see them on the video, got lots of musical instruments in the background and a cat on the lap. So it's sort of very Blofeld. A wrong colour cat, but other than that, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. Yeah, good.
Is this your second or your third time back at Deepdale?
Third time.
Third time?
Third time, yeah.
And you're going to be part of Alton's AWM TV collective on Sunday morning in the Orchard, aren't you? And how is gig life? Is it are you doing lots of gigs at the moment?
Yeah, well, yeah, it has been pretty constant actually since the end of the event. It has been quite, I mean, because we have a function band as well, so if we're not out as a duo, then we're out with that basically. Mm-hmm. Yeah, not an awful lot of time off. And
have you managed to be creative in that time, or has it mainly been performing?
What we've been working on up until last week was our new EP, which was released on 14th of July. It entirely kind of home recorded on all the artwork, and it took us about 15 months. So basically, whenever we weren't gigging, we were working on that and all the stuff that goes into releasing an EP, sending out emails, all of the administrative tasks that
endless social media
that aren't as exciting as being creative, but seem to take just as much time as doing the creative.
Put some time aside a little bit now, if we can, to try to utilize any gaps we have to try and get back into writing again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But it's kind of hard because then everything you put on the back burner has now come around and people are saying, can you help us with this? And maybe you can come and do this and maybe we could do that. And you want to do all the things.
The function band, are you out a lot, most weekends kind of booked up with that. So that kind of takes out most Saturday nights, I guess. And
yeah. So basically this weekend, for example, we were on Friday, we were gigging with the function band. And then last night we were out doing False Colours at the A Light Left On Folk Club. So that's a fairly typical weekend, a gig with each band. Yeah, that's what we do.
A lot of moving kit.
Yeah.
A lot of moving kit because it's different kit for each band.
Yeah.
Can't even leave the car loaded.
It's so annoying. Nobody sees that bit, do they? They just see that bit where you do all your little happy singing and having a nice time. They don't see the load the car, load into the venue, unload from the venue, load back to the car, load back to the house.
Or all the stairs that there are at some venues. Like last night we were on like the 4th floor of this building. It was
not funny.
Oh, it was not funny. No, it was a lot of trips up and down those stairs.
Yeah, people who don't organise events have no concept of the setup or breakdown time. Like people turn up on a Thursday evening for the festival and enjoy music for 3.5 days, and then they go home and have no concept of the kind of like the weeks of kind of breakdown and admin that go on afterwards. And we do these things because we love them, don't we? But sometimes you do sort of just go, remind me again why. What's the point? Yeah, but
include the travel as well. But that's one thing I really appreciated when we did Deepdale the first time was how you can't drive up to the stage because of the setup. You can't do that. That's fine. But you guys provided that like trolley thing, and oh my goodness, like the difference that makes is like such a relief because we have to do so many trips backwards and forwards. I think people often think, oh, they're only a duo, so they'll just be like a guitar on their back and maybe a band. And it's not like that, like I'm playing this massive heavy electric upright bass. We've got amps, we've got, do you know what I mean? Like there's so much stuff going on. So yeah, things like that make all the difference. If you can't load up to the stage, a trolley is at least a really good, alternative. So
yeah, we can't. We haven't quite got to the point of golf carts taking, sort of divas to their respective stage. But
right?
We can provide our wonky trolley. It's it's the right level for us. We feel so. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. I really appreciated that. I was like so relieved when you guys said about that. I was like, oh my goodness, this is.
And when you are writing, do you find it's a quick process, or do you find that it's quite you're constantly tinkering and it's a long drawn out process?
It depends.
Right.
It's so songs, isn't it? Like The Road was written over absolutely, well, maybe even years. Like you had scraps on your computer, didn't you? And they all came together in bits and took ages. And then other songs like, I
Just
don't know,
happening enough.
yeah, like English in Cars was quick, wasn't it?
Yeah. So
you just write it because you've got such a strong idea, and then it just comes together, and that's that. So
I kind of had my own method for writing in the first place, which was to just see what words fall out of my head. It's not really a method, to be honest with you. It was, but it worked for us for a really long time. And then I did these accordion lessons with during lockdown with Hannah James from Lady Masery, and she taught me a couple of songwriting techniques that were really interesting and different. And so this EP that we've just released is kind of, it's got some of these techniques that I learned from Hannah, as well as some of the ways that we've worked normally in the past. So it's a bit of a mix up. Yes. We like to try and keep it fresh, because I guess it's easy to just fall into the same habits, strumming the same chords and things. And we want every song to be different. Yeah. And every have its own sound.
We're talking about, like, recently we've been talking about, as we come into this bit where we're like, maybe we should try and take some space for writing now. We've been talking about, let's swap instruments, let's write on something entirely different. Let's go and get one of the old instruments that we never touch, and just write on that. And then obviously you can build it all back together again on your normal instruments.
Yeah, and take it back.
But it'll be different. It'll be a different process. So you don't just come out with the same stuff, and end up with everything the same. So.
And is it the tune or the words that tend to drive the songs?
Traditionally, for me, when I start writing a song, I hear the first line of words and tune as one. That's just how a lot of the seed ideas come about. But
you are quite good at that, aren't you? Sometimes David will go on a walk and then come back and just be like, hang on a minute, I've got this bit. And there'll just be this line, this little tiny section. And sometimes we work on it straight away. Other times it just gets left for, months, and we come back to it later. But there have been a number of times where David's just come back with this little bit, and then we're able to just grow it from that seed, like it's really...
Yeah, but it's hard to say whether it's the words or the melody, because to me they almost come as one. Although when I was working with this, again using these other sort of methods that I've been learning and trying out lately, they seem to start much more with the words, which is quite different to what we've done before.
And do you prefer the creation, or do you prefer the performing?
The creation.
Interesting. Okay.
I mean, I don't dislike the performing, but involved in the perform. I mean, well, actually, I guess with the creation as well. But because you pour yourself into the creation, and then when it comes to the performing, you're full of doubts about your value and whether you're whether the things that you've created are worth people's time, and there's a lot of stress involved in that. I find that just play into my broken mind. But then again, I do enjoy it. I enjoy performing as well. But I can do writing here on the sofa, so.
Swings and roundabouts. Yeah, no lugging heavy PAs upstairs to kind of be creative. Yeah, so it's yeah. Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having a chat with me. If I was to play one of your songs, which one are you going to choose?
I think we've given nods of agreement. Maybe The Road, because I see, you would change at the last minute, wouldn't you?
I'm fine.
Just because The Road took the longest. Basically, for when we released our first EP, we always decided that The Road would be the next one to come out, and then it all went wrong, and then it all went right again, and it's taken such a long time. So it feels like a massive relief to have that song finally done.
And it is kind of like the theme song for this EP. It's a song that draws on, I think, all of the themes that are that are in our new EP. So yeah,
Brilliant.
give that a go.
Excellent. Fantastic. Well, so lovely to speak to you. We're really looking forward to seeing you on Sunday of Deepdale Festival at the end of September. And keep well in the meantime. Enjoy your gigging and your creative process, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, thank you. Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
This road's laid out for us, so don't stray too far, 'cause we've no compass or guide. We can only navigate by the stars, but where you lead I will follow. We'll go where the wind blows, like faithful friends we have known that have taken other roads. At some point we may lose our way home, and if that time does come, I pray I'm not alone, 'cause I can picture you in my mind, but like a silent movie, the sound's now lost to time, and as the tape pages I find, the picture is degrading, the history all consigned. I fear that I must tread this path alone.
Thanks for listening to the Deepdale Festival podcast part 2. Part 1 is available on our archives on our website, deepdalecamping.co.uk, or on any decent podcast app or directory. There'll be other parts to this Deepdale Festival podcast, which we'll publish in the run-up to Deepdale Festival, and the festival itself takes place on Thursday the 21st to Sunday the 24th of September at Deepdale Camping and Rooms on the beautiful North Norfolk coast. For ticket information and any other information about the programme or artists playing, head to deepdalefestival.co.uk. We really hope you can join us for both more of these podcasts and for the festival itself. Day tickets are available. Thanks again for listening. See you soon.
Skies all open wide, geese go high and over. Oh, now you're a beachcomber, a fistful of sandfire, sea, lavender, CNN.